Hello viewers and welcome to Face TV. I'm your host Kosgei Salim. It has been a pleasure to have you, and please don't forget to comment, like and subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss out in any good video that is coming up. Like I promised you, this video is better than the previous one. So stay tuned as we're going to start today's conversation. So what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about today the challenges facing girl child in Australia and maybe in any other overseas countries, and what parents should do so that we can avoid these challenges. And today I've compiled around five tips on how the parents should prepare their daughters so that they won't be encountering the same challenges that others have encountered before them. And the challenge number one that the parents needs to know is the parent needs to find the proper agent. What do I mean this? You need to find a super agent for your daughter. Agent, like we all know agents, they are in business to make sure that they transact your child's fee. So they need to transact. They need to supply the school with the students, and then the school will pay them in interest, or they pay them their commission once they deliver. So don't be part of the transaction deal to transact your daughter. You should know this one at all time, that agents are there to help, but also they should also help under your dictation. So don't just let them to dictate everything. Why am I saying this? Most of the agents will tell you that let's take your daughter to Melbourne, let's take your daughter to Adelaide, let's take your daughter to Sydney, let's take your daughter to Hobart. The question you need to ask yourself as a parent, because this video is for you, you need to ask yourself is, who is there in those states to help my daughter or to receive my daughter? So if you go to the agent and tell them, I need my daughter to go to Hobart because my neighbor is in Hobart, then that's the end of the story. It's either the agent tell you, I don't have a link in Hobart, or I have a link in Hobart. If they don't have schools in Hobart, it's your responsibility as the parent to go to another agent to find that agent who can really make sure to facilitate your daughter to go and study in Hobart or Darwin. We don't want to be having cases whereby parents are sending their daughters to other states where there's no one to host them, and therefore you leave your daughter to be vulnerable just because agent convinced that at the end of the day your daughter will go to Australia and she won't be stranded. It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure that you connect your daughter to someone you know, specifically, genuinely you know. Don't just someone you know, or your daughter say, we used to study together. No, please, you really need to know that. Item number two that parents need to know is, you need to know who is going to host your daughter. Item number two, who is hosting your daughter. Once you get that visa, or during the process, you should know that the reason why I'm sending my daughter to NT, that is Northern Territory, or Sydney, is because so and so is there, and this so and so, we are really close as a family bond, or we are neighbors but we are very close, so I know that my daughter is safe in their hands. Don't just send your daughter to go because you know I have a friend of a friend who's there. Things might turn out to be messy. So you really need to know who is going to host your daughter. What are the characteristics of people who are going to host your daughter? We need to discuss age, because maturity is very important. You don't let someone who's just as young as your daughter to host your daughter, because those are two souls who are searching for the direction in life. So you really need to find someone older who is already mature, so that she can show way to your daughter, so that your daughter is just to follow the direction, not like two people are like, so what do? Do we go to party? Do we go this? So you need someone who will always be a point person to lead your daughter. So age is very important. Responsibility. How responsible is this person going to host your daughter? Is she the person whom we always hear that she's been doing party all day, all night? Is this the person who never sleeps, who never stays at home, who never check, who never call their own parent? Because those are, you need to know the character of the person who's going to host your daughter. So that's another thing under someone who's going to host your daughter. Another thing is length of stay. This is where a lot of parents are making wrong. Your neighbor just came in 3 months ago or 5 months ago, and then you are calling that person. Maybe that person even is still being hosted by another person, and then you're calling them, telling them, oh, your friend is coming, so make sure you host. So you're late. The neighbor is being hosted, and you want that neighbor to host your daughter. So you really need to find someone who have stayed longer, so that you know that they are financially stable, or at least they know what they are doing. So don't just give people who have short stayed in this place to host your daughter. Even them, they are still struggling to find their feet. So you should know that. Find someone who has stayed longer, who knows inside of the state that you want your daughter to go. Another item is stability. Do they have one job? Because if that person hosting your daughter has one job, that means you are adding bills on top of bills. So you really need to find out this. How can you find out? Visit their parents, go talk to their parents, be candid, be open to them, telling them, hey, I'm seeking help from you guys. I need my daughter to be hosted. So I want to know the situation of your daughter too, or your son too, so that they can be able to facilitate my daughter. So those are things you really need to know as a parent before you send your daughter to that state. And if they're not that stable, then it's up to you to say, I'll be able to support you from here and here, or this is how we're gonna do. And try to talk to them too. Don't just do the transaction on your own. Now, that is under someone going to host your daughter. Item number 3 that parents need to be aware is your daughter's character. Why am I saying this? You as a parent, you know your daughter inside out. You should be in a position to know her. Is she the kind of person who likes to go to party? Then you need to tweak that one, because once she's here, she has all the freedom and no one will restrict her. You need to know that no one restricts anyone here. As long as you are over 18, you are free to do whatever you want to do. So if you can't train your daughter at home, when she got here and she started doing her things, don't blame those people who host her, because we have really, really limited things to tell your daughter, because we are not in charge of them. So you really need to know that. So start talking to your daughter, tell them to behave well. Or does your daughter like walking? Does she do home chores? If she doesn't do anything at home, then know that definitely if she comes here, she won't do anything, and that's a conflict. Even to those people who host her, there will be a problem. So you really need to know that. Start training your daughter. Let her be enthusiastic. Does your daughter like hustling? Is she someone who always go out, like wants to do things, wants to, like, she wants to do some things, she wanna try things? If your daughter has that outgoing nature or character, then 100% she will thrive here, okay? So does your daughter have a good rapport with other people? These are things you need to know. If your daughter doesn't like interacting with other people, doesn't like being a team member, then your daughter will have problem once she lands here, because those who host her, they will be expecting her. If the others are at work, they will expect her, since she's still new, they will expect her to have cleaned the house, maybe prepare food and all those. But if someone hosting your daughter, and after coming from a 10-hour shift and she still find dirty utensil in the sink, dirty house, she'll be like, what's the point of me hosting your daughter? So these are conversations you need to have with your daughter before sending her to Australia or any other international country overseas, So another very, very important point that we need to discuss with your parent is pregnancy. Why am I saying pregnancy? Over a period of time, we have experienced ladies arriving in Sydney or arriving in Australia while they're pregnant, and you're just shocked, like, why do you travel when you know you're pregnant? Because we need to discuss this one in deep, because once you land in this country and you're pregnant, one, employers tend not to hire you, because they know that you will work shortly and then you go on leave, so you are not productive to them. Secondly, you are not productive to the people who possibility of you getting hoisted by anyone here is so minimum, because they know you are a full package, and it's a problem to host you. To them, it's a problem, so they really don't want to host you. That's another problem. So before your daughter, after your daughter gets a visa, it's always good for you to check or ask her to know if she's pregnant or not. If she's not, that's good. If she is, you rather write an email to school to say, let's book another semester because another intake because my daughter is pregnant. The school will always accept as long as you have a letter and you have proof that she's pregnant. They will always accept, rather than you dropping your paying the air ticket for your daughter to come here. And this has happened, and whereby agents are always telling the parents, no, let her go, she will get her support, she will get her. Let me tell you this one, parent, for one visit to the doctor once you're pregnant, like routine daily checkup, it's $650, almost 50 something thousand Kenya shilling. Let's say if she does that once a month, and then as she nears her due date, she will always be doing it fortnightly. That means every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks you need to be paying 50,000. Are you going to pay that from Kenya, or who's going to pay? The person who hosts her? So you see that if your daughter is pregnant while driving, you see there is a problem. So you really need to address that as soon as possible. Another thing is the cost of checkup and need for high care. Your daughter, we call her, she's at risk level. So she needs someone to always check her at night, most of the daytime. So are you helping the person who is hosting your daughter, or you're adding trouble to them? So you really need to know that once my daughter is pregnant, these are the challenges that she's going to face, and these are the challenges the person hosting also she's going to face. She will need different meals because they need her to have health diet. So they will need her health diet. They will need someone to always drop her to hospital, bring her back. They need someone to cook for her, need someone to do massage. They will need all this care. So why send her here? And you know there's no one who's gonna give the care for her, and they will need clothes. And we've seen this one over a period of time whereby people in Sydney have been creating WhatsApp group to get clothes, to get things so that they can support someone. So you need to talk to your daughter about it, or you need to take responsibility as a parent to say you are not going if you are in this condition. We rather defer the school until next time when you are already due and you're set to go, so that you ease the pressure to other people. Don't let people raise your daughter for you, please. And when she's in this state, most of the time the doctors will say she's not fit to fly, so she can't fly back home. Even if we try everything, the airlines will say we are not taking you unless you have doctor's letter to give you an okay to fly, so that you can go back to Kenya or wherever you're going. So, and also the doctor don't want to put their career at the chopping board, you know, so they will not give you that flight letter. So you ended up being liability here. So parents, you really need to know that. Now we've finished that one about pregnancy. We have a monster in the house: alcohol and drug abuse. I'm not saying male don't abuse drugs, but recently it has been known that women does more. So can we have that conversation with your daughter? If you see your daughter started misbehaving back at home, it's time for you to have that conversation with them, so that when they are not here, you will not see seizure and all the other drugs that's just doing like crazy. So you really need to have that conversation with your daughter. Once you have that conversation with your daughter, it's good to go. Now, another thing is you need to follow up on your daughter's progress. Follow up. How do you follow up with your daughter's progress? You need to be in touch with her, be in touch with the family. This is the most detrimental mistake where parents always do. Parents tend to call their daughters, check on them, but they never say, pass the phone to the person who is hosting you. They never. So your daughter's just talking to you alone, and then the person who's hosting your daughter is just there, and you never even say hi to them. How do you think they will take you? How do you think they will always see your daughter? So when you call your daughter, always check on the other person too, and always tend to talk to them even more than your daughter, so that they will tell you, we are trying to push your daughter, but your daughter doesn't want to walk, or we are trying to do this because your daughter doesn't want to do that. And then you get to know where's the problem. because your daughter will always call you and start whinging and say, oh, mommy, oh, this place, oh, nowadays they started telling me to do this. Talk to the other person. They get to tell you that, oh, we are doing this to your daughter so that she can get up and start looking for a job, because we've seen she doesn't want to go to work. She just want to do this and this. So talk to the other person. Please, please, please talk to the person who's hosting your daughter. Get to know their welfare, how they are faring on in life. Once you get to know that, everything will be good. Other than that, you should always be in touch with your daughter, in touch with the people who are hosting, get to know the progress, set goals to your daughter so that she knows that I have to do this, I have to do that, but always prompt them. Don't talk to them in a rude way, because they are no longer in your hands. They are in a free state. So some of them, we've seen situations whereby daughters disappear from their parents. They're no longer having communication because the parents were like a little bit rude on those, and the daughter now, she has freedom. So please be in touch with your family, be in touch with people who are hosting your daughter, be in control of your agent. Don't let your agent control you, you control them. Other than that, this video is really tailored for you. Please share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Next time we'll see you with another video discussing male issues and how to support male, because we know that boy child life is in danger. But till then, stay tuned. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and above all, turn that notification bell so that you don't miss another episode as they pop up, and we will keep you good content with time, and everything will be fine. Bye, and see you next time.